What's going on, everybody? I hope that you are having a great quarantine or shelter in place, or whatever they're calling it in your area. A couple buddies and I got out and did some ripping around a park, and it was amazing. RC kind of lends itself pretty good to social distancing since you're kind of controlling everything at a distance in the first place. But we tried mixing it up this time where we had cars and quads and planes, and I guess I've never really done much chasing before, so then it was really, really cool. So if you have a car or if you have a plane, I highly recommend bringing it out to the field with you next time you go out flying quads, because it is just a hoot to be flying around. I started out the day flying my Leader 120. It's a little bit of an older airplane and an older quadcopter. It actually came out, I think, early mid 2017. So in RC quadcopter speak, that is ancient. I just took it out of the closet and flew it a little bit. It didn't fly really great, and after watching some Kebab FPV videos, he rants and raves over how good 357 is on BetaFlight. So I just flashed that to it, and this is completely stock PIDs, and it flies really, really nice. I was amazed at how well it flies. I'm also amazed how well this little all-in-one 25 milliwatt video transmitter works. This is quite a distance away, over 2 baseball fields and some other sections of stuff, and I just wanted to see how far it would make it. And yeah, this is my first pack of the day. I'm already getting kind of bold of exploring around. Tough to see the scraggle with the standard definition and not super awesome camera on this thing, but it was fun to rip around. And yeah, like I said, this is my first pack, not tuned at all, completely stock 357 rates and everything. The only thing I might change is I might bump up the rates just a hair. It is a little slow on rolls and snaps and stuff. But yeah, I was just really pleased with how good this thing flies and how good my batteries still work. I'm running this on a couple of 450 milliamp hour 3S nanotechs. I mean, we're in chase of I think that's a TwigXL. Chasing her down. A couple of my friends had a couple of those TwigXLs, and those things rip. I really liked that. And it's kind of funny there that I'm chasing that TwigXL, because the Leader 120 is kind of the prototype to the TwigXL. It's a little lightweight ripper, and you can see that even the older 120 is actually lighter than the TwigXL. The TwigXL is kind of the more modern take on it, where you go up in motor size, down in kV, and then you run it off a higher voltage battery. So even though they're spinning about the same prop, you can see that the Leader 120 has a lot more motor kV. So a lot of people would either run the 120 on 2S, or they would go down in prop size, is what I'm thinking about doing too, either going down to a 2.5 or a 2-inch prop, just to match that higher kV a little better. What do you do when a cop drives by? Well, you do a punch out and you go check out and see what he's looking at. I left him alone. John went and chased him down. He wasn't doing anything. He's just checking it out. But we thought we might have to talk to him later, but he never came back around. As you can tell by the quality change, this is my first flight of the day with my DJI Digital system. This is the iFlight DC3 3-inch quadcopter. Running this on, just like the Leader, some old packs I already had. They're 850 4S packs, which is a little bit heavier than what they recommend to fly it on. So I do get some weird oscillations and stuff that I'm going to have to work on eventually. But here you can see we just zoomed into 16:9 view. Still playing around with that, trying to decide what I like and don't like about 16:9x4:3. It is a native 4:3 sensor, so when you go to 16:9, it chops off stuff on the top and bottom. So I feel like you're like throwing away data, but everything's 16:9 nowadays, so I mean, that's the way you look at it. So I'm still torn on that. Here we can see going through the trees, and digital is just a completely different story than the analog systems. Like, you can see all the scraggle. If you're not in the know, scraggle is what we call all those little tiny branches that are really hard to see on these trees, especially this time of year with no leaves. If you hit one of those, it can really make your day not so great. So yeah, just cruising around these trees, checking stuff out. Here you can see what it looks like when I'm in the goggles here. This is what I see through the goggles. Pretty clear. You could see right where everything was and know how to avoid it. You can kind of see on both sides of the screen there's some area where it gets a little fuzzy. That's called focus mode. So it prioritizes latency over quality. Later on I experimented turning that on and off, and I think I'll leave that off because the latency was super low no matter which mode you had it in, and those vertical lines of quality change just kind of takes you out of it. Alright, now we're moving out of the plane and the first chase of the day, and here we can see a slow-mo flyby. John is chasing me in his Mobula 6, and I am flying my Sport Cub S with a cheap little all-in-one camera VTX glued to the cockpit, and man, what a hoot this was. I mean, this is a $100 plane and maybe a $20 camera and transmitter glued onto it, and we're chasing it with a $60 whoop. There, you hit me. You hit me on the back there. You can see the tail flying out. God dang, this was just so much fun. It's just funny because both of these crafts combined doesn't even, like, it's not even half of that DJI drone. And there you can see him flying by and flying over. Just slowed it down a little bit there. This was just so much fun. He's trying to chase me and hit me, and I'm trying to get away as fast as I can. It's just a hoot. There he goes, flying by again. And it was fun for him too. There was a laugh a minute doing this. It was so fun. I'm just kind of making big, long oval. Oh, you hit me again there. Making big, long ovals here so you can track me down. The rolling shutter is interesting too on the prop there. Later on I tried to like match it so it would just stay stuck in place. There it goes again. And this is just so cool. So if you've never chased something with your FPV craft, I would highly recommend it. And if you've never FPV'd a plane, I would highly recommend that as well. You don't need to get fancy. Like I said, this is a $20 camera all-in-one VTX. Here he gets super close. Look at that. Oh man, that's just, I know I'm belaboring the point here, but it was a hoot and a half. The only drawback is the flight time on a brushless whoop like that. That's running 25,000 kV motors. It's only about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5 minutes on a 1S pack. So while I was getting 6-7 minutes with the plane, he'd have to go in every 2 minutes and recharge. So circling back around here. It hit me again. Anytime the tail flings out like that, you can tell he actually made contact with me. Might have got me again there. That might have been the wind. That was for sure him. I'm flying this. This says safe in it, so it auto levels. I'm flying it in mode 2, so it lets you get a pretty extreme angle, but it doesn't let you do a complete roll. It was actually pretty windy at this point in the day. You can see John changing the battery, so I'll speed it up here a little bit. It was getting to be a little windy, and kind of on the, you can tell this is kind of like down in a bowl, so on the ridge line there you kind of get some weird wind, and I mean, it was a little bit bigger plane, and with the quads it wasn't a big deal, but this little guy just got blown around a little bit. So that safe system in this thing is just magical. It makes it fun to fly. There, he's back up in the air. Give him a little chase there. I think this is when he told me to do full throttle, see if he could catch me. So you'll notice the weird looking prop get a little bit faster. There he goes, zooming over again and down. Yeah, just super duper fun. It's an interesting way, because if you have two people flying at quads, if you don't have a timer set up and you're not really racing, it can be kind of, there he goes again, not really boring, but you just kind of run out, and it's hard to actually see people if you don't have a bunch of LEDs on your quad, and hard to track people down. Whereas this, it's a big blue and white plane barely moving through the sky. Even with the worst camera, you can see that and chase that down. And I think somebody just plugged in another quad, so you can tell we're getting a little bit more breakup on the screen. Yeah, there it goes. This is only a 25 milliwatt transmitter, so anytime that 200 milliwatt transmitter is in between me and the plane. Got a little bit of that break up there. Not terrible though, flyable. There it goes again. I almost got my prop that time. That would have been interesting. I think he did get my prop that time. Let's see that again in slow-mo. Yeah, he does hit my prop there. Oh god, that's so funny. You can actually read his battery information off of that thing. Guys, this is just silly fun here. Come back around. That got me again. Hit my tail. All right, I think you guys get the point. This was silly fun. You can see the TwigXL down there. He didn't want to chase me, just in case he did hit me. That thing would chop up this plane into bits. All right, I think you guys get the point here. Let's go on to the next chase vehicle with my Traxxas X-Maxx. If you don't know what the X-Maxx is, it is a product from Traxxas. It's about 2.5 feet long, 2 feet wide, 25, 30 pounds. And we're going to do some chasing. Powered by 8S batteries. John's chasing me in his Mobula 6. See him come ripping around here. It's kind of hard to see versus the big truck, but there he goes. Yeah, this was pretty fun, just like chasing the plane. It just gives you something to go after, it gives you a target, and it gives you kind of a mission to carry out. And it makes you interact with somebody else. But from 6 feet or more away. Zooming by there. Trying out some new tires and rims on the X-Maxx from Power Hobbies. They're called the Scorpion XLs. I like them a lot. We come screaming by for another pass. As John says, I couldn't say it better myself.
Dude, that's fun chasing.
Nice laugh there, Jake. Nice wheelie, though. Coming in for a landing.
That's a hoot.
And we're gonna switch it up a little bit. Go for a range test of my DJI quad. We're looking at the goggle recording here. I'm running Crossfire at 250 milliwatts and 700 milliwatts on the DJI video transmission. About a quarter mile out. I know the long range guys are gonna laugh at that. But I am below the horizon here from where I'm standing, so there is earth between me and the quad, and kind of flying into the swamp here with a bunch of trees and crap in between me and where the quad is right now. It didn't really come through on the recording. This is the goggle recording you're looking at right now, but those brown twigs and all that scraggle and stuff was making this weird kind of checkerboard pattern on the screen, so I didn't really feel comfortable getting closer to it. I was going to pop over to the field here, and again get low and let some trees and earth be between me and the quad. You can start to see the bit rate start to dip. The delay never really got too bad, but the bit rate kind of was dropping down 15, 13 there. On the goggles it showed 2 out of 4 and 3 out of 4 bars. It never dropped down to 1 bar. But then as soon as I get some altitude, it's fine. So I'm excited to push this system out a little bit further. And as we go up here and chase this plane, I'm going to switch back into the air unit recording. So this is the onboard recording. This guy showed up after we started flying, and he started flying this kind of big Cub Alaskan bush plane style thing. We didn't really talk to him and ask him if we could chase him, so I was kind of letting him keep his distance. But yeah, ripping around in the DJI quad. I'm loving this digital stuff. Alright, now I get a chance to chase the X-Maxx. I'm flying my Mobula 6 with 19,000 kV motors. I just love the way this thing flies. I have the Mockingbird tune on it. John's driving the X-Maxx. Sanitized hands, of course. Get the hand sanitizer going the whole time. Get kind of used to how close you can get. gotta kind of factor in your camera angle on all this too. Pop up over the jump. Meow. It's just so fun chasing things. Again, if you have the ability to do it, I highly recommend it. Just trying to get closer here. Coming up around for another jump. I'm gonna slow it down again. I love the way this thing jumps. Meow. A little bit of a wheelie out of that. Those new tires rip too. I think it's also good if you can ahead of time kind of figure out what lines you're going to be taking, or kind of like what the plan is. Sometimes I was thinking he was going to circle around and make a jump, and then he didn't. I'm sure when he was chasing me, it was the same deal, where he didn't 100% know what the other person was going to do. That also makes it kind of fun, because you got to kind of work that into thinking like, if I get tight to him here and he ends up taking the jump, then I won't be able to see him. Not to toot my own horn here, I know it takes two to tango, but I think this is my favorite shot. Yeah, I just like that, man. Slow it down and everything. Looks like some out of a Red Bull commercial. Slightly lower definition though. Alright, let's move on to some plane chasing. Alright, now it's time for me to chase the plane. Flying John's Mobula 6 here. Again, plenty of hand sanitizer. Target acquired. This is the first time I chased the plane. It's a little bit interesting, because the plane is kind of going at this constant thing, and then every once in a while it gets kicked around by the wind. Again, if you're not communicating, you don't really know exactly when everybody's going to be turning. Kind of lost me. You're like, where the heck did he? He's already on the other side. Oh, there he is. Chasing after him, trying to get caught up. Get him back in, locked in. Give him a good view there. Now, this isn't my quadcopter, but again, one of the nice things about having the prop guards and a cheap little foam plane and everything being light is, even if you do hit him, nothing's going to happen. He hit me plenty of times when I was flying around before. Almost got him. So close. Get back on his tail. Kind of getting the hang of it here of keeping close, and then once he's on a straight line, you can see a real plane up there going across the sun right now. I think it might be kind of fun to really lower your camera angle down if you're chasing something slow like this, and try to fly backwards in front of it. It's nearly impossible to do. I think this is only 20 degrees maybe, and it's the second you start flying backwards, all you see is sky. It's impossible to reverse chase anything with any sort of camera angle. Alright, as I pop in the second battery here to go out and chase John, kind of getting the hang of it, gonna do some circles around him. This video's gotten to be way too damn long. Almost 20 minutes already. But we had a great day. So if you've got a quadcopter, got planes, got cars, get out there to the parks. I mean, depending upon what your state or country's doing. Where we are, it's totally fine to go outside as long as you keep 6 foot distance away from everybody and you don't do anything that gathers a crowd or anything like that. So it's a great time to be out in the parks. There's obviously nobody playing baseball or no leagues, soccer, all that stuff isn't really going on. So as long as it's safe, as long as it's legal, get out there and make the most of it. Don't just wallow around and sulk in your house. If you can, get out, enjoy the weather. I mean, the day after this video was shot, it snowed 7 inches. But here in Minnesota, you gotta enjoy it while you can. So get out there, have some fun, make some memories, break some stuff. As long as you have fun, keep it safe. I hope we all get through this COVID crap and come out the other side smiling.